get up and go, no matter the road, gotta keep.
Hello, viewers, listeners. It's my utmost pleasure to welcome you to our brand new show and podcast on female genital mutilation or FGM. And our show is called the cutting culture. As you well know, the female genital mutilation culture runs in many countries across Africa and parts of Asia, where women and girls are caught routinely in the name of culture. So we're looking at the possibility of extinguishing this culture that destroys the sexuality, the dignity of millions and millions of girls across the world in the name of culture. This is the first of 6 episodes on this very special program, and I can assure you that you are going to love it. And today I'm super excited to welcome our very first guest on this wonderful show. It's a very amazing personality, very amiable. She's a gender advocate and TV personality. Yinka Kenny is also the founder of the Yinka Kenny Girls Foundation. Yinka Kenny, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Yeah, I'm so delighted to be here, even when it's talking about something to make the life of the feminine gender better. I would always make time to make myself available. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. So when we talk about female genital mutilation, what comes to your mind? What's your first impression?
Okay, let me start from being someone that was mutilated. So would I say ignorantly, consciously or unconsciously, whichever way, but the fact remains that one is being mutilated. When it comes to female genital mutilation, we talk about, let me use the layman's language. That's a situation where the woman or the female right now is being cut, her genitals are being cut, her cleats, let me use the word her cleats, they are being cut, and they are done in several ways. It could be a partial cutting or a complete cutting. And you see, this is due to so many traditional beliefs, which a lot of people are advocating now so that we can stop. As much as we are advocating, well, the advocacy is working, but then we still have a long way to go. Because you look at research tells us that even here in Nigeria, 27% of the females rather, between the ages of 0 and 15, they go through this process. And they go through this process within a society where they feel nothing is wrong with it. Now, nothing is wrong with it, but medical researchers, they have come out to tell us that a whole lot is wrong about this. They have come out to tell us that it affects the fertility of women, it causes infection, and or in some cases, it even causes life-threatening diseases, and even it causes death in some cases also. And these and many more reasons are the reasons why we today advocate that this act is barbaric and must stop.
Thank you very much. It's really struck me, and I'm really sorry that you are a victim or a survivor. A victim rather, because this is a permanent damage of female genital mutilation. Would you tell us what really happened? Were you so young then? What really
I would say that personally, I was even ignorant of whatever it is. And I will tell you that somehow my parents too were ignorant. It tells you way back that, because I spoke with a very senior nurse, because while I was looking for answers to my questions, that how come my mother doesn't know? How come my father doesn't know? I, as a person, well, I never knew until I was in my 40s. So I was close, I think I was about 39 when I discovered. And I I had to talk to several people, and the senior nurse made me realize that those days, many years, it used to be a norm, that something carried out, even like it has to be like we do the circumcision of the boys.
Your parents were not aware?
My mom, because when I discovered, I walked to my mom and I asked her, I said to her, Mom, was I circumcised? She looked at me as if I was coming from God knows where. I said, yes. She said, she doesn't think so. I said, I really am circumcised. She said, no. I said, I was cut. She said, are you sure? I said, yes, because and the error most of us females do is that we never ever take the mirror to look at what is, beneath us. We never, at any point in time take the mirror to want to examine what is actually there. So at the point in which you happen to meet someone that, you happen to meet the masculine gender that has a good knowledge of this fact and walks up to you to say that you were actually mutilated, and you look and you're like, excuse me, what's the meaning of this? So that actually was my case. But the only experience I would say as a person is that before then, I would say that I never really looked up to sex, and because I never really enjoyed sex. And it was not something, I remember in my younger days that I lived I lived with a group of ladies, and the way they talk about sex with so much ecstasy, with so much interest, and I sit back in my corner and I want to begin to wonder what do they really enjoy in all of this? Because for me it's pain. Even if I have to do it once in a while, for me it's painful. But as young girls, once in a while you want to belong. So you just do it, but you still go back to your corner and say, why is it that they are enjoying this and I am not enjoying this? So until the day I was actually told I was mutilated, it was really interesting. And I got home, I was then one of my sisters, so to speak, she's my in-law, but we became sisters, was living with me. She's also matured. I got home immediately, I called her, I said to her, someone said to me that I was mutilated. She laughed and laughed and laughed and where is that coming from? I said, today we have to check. Honestly, we really, in fact, we still talk about that day and all of us, we laugh. So I said, we start from you. We picked a mirror. We looked, in through our vagina. We looked through our clitoris, and we saw the way it was and everything. I said, okay, let's check mine. And we actually checked that. I almost do not have. And she screamed. She said, Aunt Kenny. I was like, really? So I said, okay. When my daughter comes from school, she'll be another case study. At least I know I didn't mutilate my daughter. So, because when you discover things, most especially at a matured age, it worries you emotionally. If you're not careful, it affects you psychologically. You begin to retrace a lot of things that had happened to you in the past. And you begin to tell yourself, if you had the knowledge of this, maybe you could have done this right, you could have done that right, you could have gone this way, or you could have even spoken to your sexual partner on what to do to make me enjoy this, that this is where I'm coming from. So because a lot of sexual partners might not even know where you're coming from, so they don't understand, and at the end of the day, they inflict pains on you that damages you emotionally, psychologically, and in every other way. So my daughter came from school, so when we allowed her sleep, she slept at the middle of the night. I realized that my daughter's clit was almost times 5 what I had, and then she was just a very little girl. I remember that night I wept. I wept and wept and wept. How on earth this?
I mean, who could have done this without your parents' consent or even knowledge?
Till tomorrow, and that's one of the, in my own case, most times some children, it's been done for them with their parents. Of course, it's not the parents that usually will have them cut, but they give consent because it's like a norm in their family, is what runs in the
My mother
lineage.
cannot remember.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I can't. It's still a mystery, and that's the painful part of it. Because I asked her, and she said she doesn't know. She was trying to, because actually when I was born, I was born a set of twins, and there were complications here and there. Myself, my twin sister. At the end of the day, she lost my twin sister, and maybe in the midst of everything, a lot of things happened, and maybe a memory loss. Unfortunately, my father could not be aware because my father was away in the UK. So, I felt there was even no point asking my father, because my mother that was around could not even understand or remember. You see, in my own case, that is the painful part of the story, because I cannot even trace where it came from. Did it come from the nurses, or did it come from probably my grandmother or whatever? And when it's been done as a baby, it doesn't, the bleeding might not be as much as when you are an adult. So these are part of the damage is being done to the girl child for reasons that is just not us. For some things that is there's no fault of us. She didn't ask for this. She didn't ask to be a girl. She didn't ask to be born into a certain society. She didn't ask to be born in a certain kind of family. And you realize that some people, they grow up, they can't have children. Medical research has traced some back to the fact that they were actually mutilated.
What do you think our government is doing enough to end this barbaric tradition?
Okay, we remember in 2015, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, there was a ban, the law was put out where there was a ban on female genital mutilation. But the problem we have in this part of the world is implementation. How many of our laws are we being able to really implement? A lot of things are going on out there that we have enough laws that should guide us to all of this, but then we find out that everybody is just a master of himself, doing whatever he or she wants to do. You go to a lot. We did documentary. A colleague did a documentary. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I cannot remember. Where I played a major role in that documentary. And we did a lot of research. You still realize that there are some places, some communities, even in your state down here, that still go about doing all of this, and they still feel it's normal. They have their beliefs, they have their reasons why they are doing all of this, and nobody is talking to them except like people like you and myself and other people standing up, to take up this advocacy. Tell me, you ask them, what is the reason? And they tell you that is the way what they made their parents do it, and they are doing it. You can just imagine. So, like I said after that roadshow, I said to my colleagues that it seems we need really to do so much advocacy even within the elite, because we take it to the grassroots, we take it to the uneducated, but then these elites that even, so to speak, govern us, what is their belief about all of this? So if they are still of the opinion that the female should be mutilated, then we are not starting.
Thank you so much. Like you mentioned earlier, the problem with us in Nigeria, with the laws such as the law against sexual is implementation. It's enforcement. Even with something as basic as awareness creation, to know your rights, to know that this is wrong. Like you rightly said, in 2015, under the legal agreement, the new law was enacted, which was the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, or that Act, which, among other things, prohibits
female genital.
or criminalizes female genital.
Yeah, that's even the word. Criminalizes it.
Widowhood rights, harmful old traditions, and all of that. But it's unfortunate that in many parts of the country, FGM is still ongoing. Cultural practices, harmful cultural practices such as widowhood rights are still ongoing. I would believe that with a show like this, we'll be able to create more awareness, we'll be able to speak truth to power, be able to hold the policymakers accountable so that they ensure that these laws are enforced. It's not just for the sake of enactment and making all of the noise, but to ensure that it is passed. Because many of these laws are life-saving. Imagine female genital mutilation procedures leading to excessive bleeding and death of the victims. In this century, it's completely abominable. It's not acceptable.
Even most of the times it causes difficulty in childcare.
Yeah, so it's people also need the awareness. I understand that in some cultures it is said that when women are not circumcised, when if a woman is not circumcised and if she goes into labor and the head of the baby touches her clitoris, the baby dies. And I've not seen a baby that has died and has been medically proven to have died as a result of eating the mother's clitoris. Those are some of the myths, and then educators tend to buy into it. But we believe that with more awareness and then people that are in positions of authority ending some of these harmful cultural practices, that will have a better world and women will live better. They will express their sexuality in a more healthy way. And I believe that all of us will be happy for it. So we're going to be talking more and more with experts and other persons against the female genital mutilation practice in Nigeria. We're going to be shining light against this modern day evil with this show.
So thanks so much again for coming on the show.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, viewers.
Thank you. My pleasure anytime.
Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for making it a day for us. And we believe that we'll have more of the shows and we'll be there and we'll put our voices together to end female genital mutilation in Nigeria. Remember, this is Talk the Costing Culture Show. Please stay tuned. Thank you and bye for now.
He's your way. When you're afraid, he's your courage. When you stumble, he will steady you. When you're hurt, he's gonna heal you. When you're broken, he will mend you.